Welcome back to the Deep Dive and our Book Bite segment from Pizza Prosper Life. Great to have you with us again. This is part 2 of our look at Dr. Sue Johnson's amazing book, Hold Me Tight. Today, we're really getting into the heart of it. We're talking about the first 4 of her 7 transforming conversations. These are the ones designed to help couples, reconnect, build that trust back, and create really lasting emotional bonds. Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, a guide to understanding the real core of love and how to make relationships not just survive, but actually thrive. Yeah. We're going to try and cut through to what's most impactful here.
Absolutely. And Dr. Johnson's work, it really challenges that old idea, doesn't it, that, healthy adults should be totally self-sufficient. Instead, she argues pretty convincingly, I think, that emotional attachment to our partners is, well, fundamental, a basic human need like food or shelter.
Yeah.
It's all about building what she calls a secure emotional bond. And that comes from being open, really attuned, and responsive to each other.
Yeah, it's powerful how she frames it, not just romance, but love as a pinnacle of evolution, like a survival mechanism. She even uses those historical examples like kids in foundling homes literally failing to thrive without touch and emotional contact. It just shows how deeply wired this need for connection really is in us.
That's such a crucial point. And look, this isn't just, a nice theory. There are rigorous studies over 15 years showing that 70 to 75% of couples, they recover from distress. They report being happy in their relationships after doing emotionally focused therapy, which is the approach in the book. It really highlights how understanding our deepest needs and our fears too shapes everything we do and say in relationships.
Okay, let's dive in. We've all been there, right? Those awful repetitive arguments. Feels like you're stuck on repeat. Dr. Johnson calls them demon dialogues. So what's the main thing she wants us to get about these patterns?
Right, the demon dialogues. The real aha moment here is seeing these painful patterns not as your fault or your partner's fault, but as a shared kind of destructive dance you're both caught in. See, most fights aren't really about the dishes or being late or whatever the surface issue is. They're actually a protest. A protest about feeling emotionally disconnected. Underneath all the anger, the criticism, what partners are often asking is, can I count on you? Are you really there for me? Do I actually matter to you?
Yeah.
And realizing that it's the cycle, the pattern, that's the enemy, that's incredibly empowering. It means you can escape it together.
Okay, and she identifies 3 really common negative patterns, these dances that sabotage connection.
Yeah.
The first one is find the bad guy. This is the classic blame game, right? Each person pointing the finger. Like, she mentions Pam and Jim. Pam accuses Jim. Jim fires back, and they just end up feeling more and more defeated and alone. It's just this defensive loop where each person's trying to prove the other one is wrong, and it just chips away at the connection. The takeaway seems to be this pattern isolates both people.
Exactly. Then there's the second one, the protest polka. This is probably really familiar to a lot of people. It's where one partner pushes, demands, criticizes, kind of pursues for a response. Yeah. And the other partner, they withdraw, they shut down, go silent. Think of Ken trying to please Mia by going dancing, but when she actually wants him to dance, he freezes up. So she tries to coach him, pushes harder. Or Todd, who chases his wife for sex because that's his way of feeling close. But when she pulls away, he badgers her, which just makes her pull away even more. The chaser gets more desperate. The withdrawer gets more distant. The pursuers are really fighting for connection, often desperately, while the withdrawer feels overwhelmed or scared. It's a cycle that just pushes them further apart.
Right. And the third one, freeze and flee. This is when both partners just pull back, they distance themselves, they lose that emotional contact. Often they kind of intellectualize things, or maybe deny they even need emotional connection, like Carol and Terry. Swamped with work, kids. They stopped making eye contact, stopped touching. They even rationalized why their sex life faded. Their protest just became this kind of paralyzed silence. Or Tom and Brenda, whose sensitivities, those raw spots we'll talk about, led them to barely speak, just protecting themselves. The point is, silence isn't always golden. It can be a really powerful, painful protest, signaling deep disengagement.
Absolutely. And what all these patterns show really clearly is that when our emotional connection feels threatened, we instinctively go into a kind of fight or flight mode, or freeze even. We blame, we attack, maybe we get aggressive, or we just shut down completely. And these reactions, they just end up confirming our worst fears and making the isolation even deeper. So the crucial step, the absolute key, is for both partners to see that they are both caught in this dialogue. They're both victims of the pattern, not victims of each other.
Okay, so what's the practical takeaway here? How do we use this understanding? It sounds like it's about shifting from thinking me versus you to thinking us versus the pattern. Like Peter in the book, learning to say, hang on, can we stop this? Aren't we both just getting beaten down by this spiral?
Mm.
That simple shift in pronouns from you to we, it changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it? It lets them team up against the dance instead of fighting each other. It's a really powerful reframe. Suddenly the pattern is the enemy, not your partner.
Precisely. And maybe a good moment for reflection for anyone listening. Think about your own relationship. Can you spot a demon dialogue you tend to fall into? What do you think might happen if you and your partner could actually pause, mid-argument maybe, and just name that pattern together? See it as the shared problem.
Okay, so these demon dialogues, they're the surface patterns. But what's really driving them underneath? Does Dr. Johnson talk about the deeper triggers?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where it gets really, really insightful. She explains that these demon dialogues are often triggered by what she calls raw spots. Think of them as hidden sensitivities, old emotional wounds, maybe attachment injuries from the past, that make us hypersensitive to certain things our partner says or does.
Yeah.
They cause that sudden radical shift in emotional tone, or a reaction that just seems way, way out of proportion to what actually happened.
Right. Like the example of Pierre. His wife Marla takes a 15-minute phone call and he just goes ballistic.
Hmm.
It's not really about the phone call itself. It's because it hits this deep insecurity he has about feeling unseen or unwanted, probably from earlier experiences.
Yes, rest.
Jean-Francois, right? His first wife betrayed him, so now even his current wife just smiling at a friend or not being home right when he expects her, it sends him into a blinding panic. The reaction is like an echo of that old wound.
Exactly. And we also hear about Steve. His wife wants more sex, and he hears it as this guided missile attacking his confidence because of taunts from his childhood about not being male enough and issues from his first marriage. And then there's that really heartbreaking example of Cal, the abuse survivor. He describes himself as just one big raw spot. He craves comfort, soothing, but he's terrified of touch because he can't tell a gentle caress from a harmful cut. The critical insight here, the thing to really grasp, is that these intense reactions, they're almost always a cry for connection or a defense against feeling abandoned again, and they're rooted in those past hurts.
But it's not all doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
There's hope here.
Definitely. The good news, and this is backed by recent research, is that we're not prisoners of our past. We can actually earn a sense of secure connection. We can heal even really deep vulnerabilities, but it takes a responsive, loving partner. Love, in this sense, literally transforms us. It's a powerful agent for change and healing.
So how do we work with these raw spots? How do we unpack them?
Well, Dr. Johnson suggests a kind of 5-step process. It takes courage, but it's really helpful. First, identify the trigger. What exactly happened right before that intense reaction flared up? Second, what was the surface emotion? Usually anger, frustration, maybe irritation. Third, and this is crucial, what did you truly feel underneath that? Was it fear, sadness, shame, loneliness? Fourth, what did you long for in that exact moment? Reassurance, comfort, to feel seen. And finally, fifth, what message did that interaction send you about your bond or about yourself? Did it feel like, I don't matter, or I'm not safe? Like Anne in the book realized her anger at her partner was really just covering up feeling scared and alone when he seemed to dismiss her worries. She just longed for him to say it was okay to be worried. The power here is moving from blaming each other to understanding the raw spot underneath. It turns a potential fight into a chance for connection.
It definitely takes courage, though, to show that vulnerability. Society tells us to be strong, right? Keep it together.
It does, but as Dr. Johnson says, and it's so true, we will never create a really strong, secure connection if we do not allow our lovers to know us fully. You have to risk being seen.
Okay, another moment for reflection then. Can you think of a time, maybe recently, when a reaction in your relationship felt, well, bigger than the situation seemed to warrant, out of proportion? What might have been the underlying raw spot playing out for you or maybe for your partner in that moment? All right, so we've recognized the demon dialogues. We've started to understand our raw spots. Now comes the real work, actually changing the dance. This brings us to conversation 3, revisiting a rocky moment. This sounds like it could be tricky. It's about looking back at a past fight.
It is, but the key is how you look back. It's not about refighting it or proving who was right, not at all. It's about replaying it together to de-escalate the lingering tension and build a new, shared understanding of what actually happened between you both. The goal is to create a different kind of dance, where you become allies against the negative cycle that caught you. It's about controlling that negative momentum and finding a path to repair. It shifts the focus from blame to understanding how you both got stuck.
Okay, so how do you do that? What are the steps?
Dr. Johnson outlines a few key steps. First, and we touched on this, stopping the game. That means consciously shifting from me versus you to us versus the cycle. Remember Peter and Claire? Claire was upset about Peter's help when she was sick. Instead of escalating, Peter calmly said, "Can we stop this? Aren't we both defeated in this spiral?" And Claire, she sighed, her whole perspective shifted, and she agreed they get trapped and exhausted. Just naming the cycle together as the enemy can instantly lower the temperature. That's the insight. Call out the pattern together.
Makes sense. What's next?
Next is claiming your own moves. This is about each partner taking responsibility for their specific actions within that negative sequence, without blaming the other person for making them do it. So Claire admitted, okay, I started by complaining and getting angry, and Peter acknowledged, yeah, and then I got defensive and attacked back. They even managed to joke about their roles, calling themselves the impervious rock and the bossy broad. They identified the pattern together. The power here is in that mutual accountability, owning your part without assigning blame.
Okay. Stop the game, claim your moves. What's third?
Third is claiming your own feelings. This means expressing your surface emotions directly, but without wrapping them up in blame or criticism. So Claire shared her anger, yes, but also admitted that underneath she felt shaken up inside. And using parts language can really help here. Like Peter saying, yeah, part of me is numb, but I guess part of me is shaken up too. It lets you express complex, maybe even contradictory feelings without overwhelming your partner. The key is getting to those deeper, more vulnerable emotions and sharing them.
Got it. And the final step.
The final step is owning how you shape your partner's feelings. This is about recognizing the impact your actions actually have on your partner. It requires empathy. So Claire realized, okay, when I come at you angry and critical, that probably triggers your defensiveness. That probably makes you want to pull away. This step really solidifies that partnership against the problem. You start to understand why your partner reacts the way they do because you see your role in triggering it. It builds empathy.
So it's not about getting it perfect every single time you argue.
Not at all. It's about knowing how to repair things, how to stop a disagreement, a rift, before it becomes this huge, unbridgeable abyss. It's understanding that your partner's negative reactions, the criticism, the withdrawal, are often just desperate attempts to cope with their own attachment fears. Fear of loss, fear of not mattering.
And it takes practice, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes you might need to replay an incident more than once to really unpack it. But doing this builds incredible resilience in the relationship. Even Dr. Johnson herself admits she sometimes reacts harshly. But she talks about hitting her mental rewind button later to calmly revisit the interaction and understand it better with her partner. It's not about perfection, it's about that persistent, compassionate practice together.
Okay, let's pause for thought again. Think about a recent argument or disagreement that left you feeling disconnected. Can you try replaying it in your mind now, using these steps? Can you identify your own moves, your own underlying feelings, and how they might have linked to your partner's moves and feelings? What might change if you could actually talk about it this way, seeing that demon dialogue, that pattern, as a shared problem you can tackle together? All right, all of these conversations, recognizing the dialogues, finding the raw spots, revisiting rocky moments, they seem to be building towards something really core. And that brings us to conversation 4. Hold me tight. This sounds like the heart of it all. This is where couples learn to really engage, connect deeply, and actually ask for comfort and connection.
Exactly. This is the pivotal exchange. It's where the magic of reconnection really happens. And it's built on 3 essential components of what Dr. Johnson calls emotional responsiveness. She uses the acronym ARE, ARE. A is for accessibility. Can I actually reach you? This means staying open, emotionally available, even when you feel uncertain or insecure. It means being willing to understand your own feelings so you can tune into your partner. R is for responsiveness. Can I rely on you to respond to me emotionally? This is about truly letting your partner's feelings, especially their needs and fears, matter to you. It's about prioritizing their emotional signals and offering clear comfort and reassurance. And E is for engagement. Do I know you will value me and stay close? This is about feeling that your partner is truly absorbed, attracted, invested in you, that you matter deeply to them. These 3 qualities, accessibility, responsiveness, engagement, are the absolute bedrock of a secure, loving bond.
It sounds like it requires dropping your defenses. Like that client, Rosemary, who talked about taking off the face mask. Ooh. It must be scary, though, to open up and ask for what you really, truly need. Like her admitting she feels empty behind the mask when she's playing defense. But that vulnerability, that's where the real connection happens, isn't it?
That's precisely it. The courage to be vulnerable, to be truly seen, is what transforms the relationship. We see this incredible transformation in couples like David and Diane. David, a military veteran carrying so much pain, he was finally able to confess his deep fear of loss, his intense longing for connection. He asked Diane straight out, "Can you love me even with all my problems?" Just laying it bare, and Diane's response, "I love you, David. When you talk like this, I want to hold you forever."
Hmm.
That moment, that created a profound, secure bond between them. The emotional wires finally connected, truly connected.
Wow. And the science behind this is pretty incredible too, right? It's not just feelings, there's biology involved.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. What makes these hold me tight moments so powerful isn't just psychological, it's deeply rooted in our neurobiology. When you truly connect like that, your brains literally start to sync up thanks to things like mirror neurons,
Yeah.
these amazing brain cells that help us feel what others are feeling. It allows for deep empathy and connection on a physical level.
And there's hormones involved too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time you have one of these successful ARE interactions, every time you reach for comfort and receive it, your brain releases oxytocin. It's often called the cuddle hormone or the bonding hormone. It literally reduces stress, builds trust, and makes you feel safer and more connected. So these ARE interactions, these hold me tight conversations, they're like turning on a potent, natural, neurochemical love potion, as Dr. Johnson puts it. Each successful conversation deepens the bond, making the couple more resilient, both as individuals and as a team. It gives them a real, tangible remedy for disconnection.
Okay, final reflection for this part. Think about your deepest attachment need. What is it that you most need to feel truly secure and loved in your relationship? And then consider this. How might expressing that vulnerability, finding the courage to let yourself be truly seen, how might that transform your connection? Well, that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive into Hold Me Tight. We've covered a lot of ground here, exploring those first 4 crucial conversations, the ones that build emotional safety and help partners really tune into each other's deepest needs and fears.
Yeah, we've looked at recognizing those destructive demon dialogues, understanding the pain behind our raw spots, and learning how to revisit rocky moments, not to fight, but to connect and repair. And we finished with the Hold Me Tight conversation itself, how fostering accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement creates that deep, neurochemically supported bond. So, what's next? In our final part, our third deep dive, we'll unpack the last 3 conversations from the book. That includes how couples can heal past injuries, those big attachment wounds, how they can strengthen physical intimacy and sexual connection, and importantly, how to keep their love alive and strong for the long haul. So be sure to subscribe to Pizza Prosper Life so you don't miss it. And as always, our reminder, stay kind, stay open, and stay connected.
And maybe one final thought to leave you with from Dr. Johnson. She says, love is like a language. If you speak it, it flows more and more easily. If you don't, then you start to lose it. So as you reflect on your own relationships, maybe ask yourself, what small, consistent efforts could you make starting today to speak the language of love more fluently? How could you turn everyday interactions into moments of deeper connection? Something to think about.